Let's begin the series of Hilchos Shabbos, and I want to start with Hilchos Akim, Lנכרי, because this is probably the most common thing which people do on Shabbos, and there's a lot of problems. That means you do a lot of things which is also to do, because it's only a goy. And as the poskim himself Alter Rebbe writes it, that by the Ein HaOlam, by the people, by the Manam, is Akim is an easy thing. It's not a big thing, because I don't do anything. It's only, I'm saying it for a goy. So therefore, we have to understand first, the first thing is whatever you are not allowed to do, you cannot say for a goy to do. This is a halacha which has to do in Hilchos Shabbos. This is a halacha has to do in all halachas. It's Kol HaTorah Kil is Amirah Akim is a Iser. It's not only in Hilchos Shabbos. But Al Kaponam, we're going to focus on Hilchos Shabbos, the Iser for Amirah Akim. Now, let me make a gdoma. But a malacha which a goy does for a yid, there is 3 isirim. There is, the first thing is saying for a goy that he should make a malacha for a Yisrael. That's one iser. Saying for a goy, do me a favor, open the light on Shabbos. Then there's a iser which is called iser hanoah memalech Shabbos. That means if a goy did a malacha, I cannot have hanoah from it. For instance, putting on a light. Even I didn't tell him, but if a goy put on a light for a Yisrael, not for himself. If he did it for himself, then there's no problem. You should have a noah. But he did it for a Yisrael, then even you didn't tell it to him. He did it for himself. It's a usher to have a noah from it. That's an extra iser. And this has nothing to do with the first iser which we said about telling for a goy. That means even though if he didn't tell it for the goy did it for himself. If the goy did it for a Jew. If the goy did it for a Jew, yes. And this is also going to be a iser, even he does it with his own chfaitzim. That means if it's the ner, the light belongs for the goy, but if he did it for a yid, it's still do a iser. Of Nehenas HaMemalech Shabbos, you have a noah for something which the goy did. Then there's a third iser, chiyuv, so to speak, which is chiyuv mechua. That means when a goy does a malacha for a malacha Shabbos for a Yisrael, it's do a chash that people going to think that you told for the goy to do it. In Mamaila is, for instance, he does it b'bayis Yisrael. He does it in a Jewish house. A goy does something in a house, a goy does something in the house of a yid, a malacha, which you didn't tell him, and even if you're not going to have a no, the Eitzim Zach, he does something in your house, you have to be moicha, because this is a chafaitzim shel Yisrael. If it's a chafaitzim shel Yisrael, and the Alter Rebbe says, and if he doesn't listen, you have to kick him out. You have a goiter, which you tell him not to do this, don't wash me the floor, or don't put on lights for me for Shabbos, and she doesn't follow the rules, you have to kick him out, you have to send her away. And this halacha has also not connected to the first halacha if you told it, if you're not told him. The Eitzim Zach, that the goy does something, b'chafaytev shel Yisrael, b'bayis shel Yisrael, is do a iser to do it, is do a chiyuv, and he has to be moicha that he shouldn't do it. You have to be a chiyuv, b'choyim b'chiyuv. So again, we have 3 things. Telling for the goy to do a malacha, then nehenas on a malacha which a goy did for a Yisrael, even if you didn't tell him. And then if the goy does it, even if you didn't tell him, he does something for you, but boy for him, can unkim that you told him to do. That means b'bayis shel Yisrael, you do a choy v'sechiv mechua.
It's like cold outside. And
we'll leave the questions for the end. We're gonna, if we're not going to cover it, we'll get to that. Let me just, all the scenarios also will come later. So every time when it comes to an Indian of Amirah Lnechry, we have to take in calculation this thing. Yeah, we have to see if there's not an Isser of Amirah, because sometimes you don't have Isser of Amirah, and we do have an Isser of Choyv Mechua. So every time we have to see if there's an Isser of Amirah Lnechry, if there's a Issa Achiv Mechua, and if you may have an Ubachlal. These are the three things. Now, in Masechta Shabbos, in the Mishnah, Zug the Mishnah, Lnechry Shabul Shabbos, if there's a fire, and the goy comes to extinguish the fire, Ein Omrim LeKabbai. We don't say Kabbai. We don't tell him that he should extinguish the fire. Zug Trashe, Rabbonim Gozri al Amira Lnechry Mishim Shvis. Rabbonim Chazal made the Isser of Amira Lnechry. A goy should not do a melucha for you. That means Rashi holds it's a Isser. Amira Lnechry is only a Isser Rabbonim. In Bapashtas is this as we mefir in Gemur Masechta Shabbos. The Gemur says Amira Lnechry Shvus means Isser Rabbonim. Always Shvus means Isser Rabbonim. So when the Gemur says Amira Lnechry Shvus, means it's only Isser Rabbonim. In La Masa, Azoi in Mavir Baribe Deribe from the Poiskim. But it's interesting to note there's a Mechilta in Parshas Boy, which the Posik says, Kol Malucha lo yeusa behem. Zug the Mechilta lo yisaso atu. You shouldn't do a mega Malucha. Lo yeusa chavayrchu. Your chaver shouldn't do for your Malucha. For lo yasik goy malachtechu. So the Mechilta learns in this Posik that basically Amira Lnechry is even a Gura Isa D'Raisa. And it's interesting, Rashi ala Torah in Parshas Boy, Rashi says, "Och on this posting, come and look at you behem." Zok Rashi is auch mashma. Rashi zok dorten afila chayrim. It's a mashma might auch afila goy, even for a goy. That means there are some poskim akapunam wie man sagt, as ze halt nach zagura Isa D'Raisa. Also is mashma in Mechilta. The Ramban writes that the Mechilta is atuas. He brings this, we all know the Gemara, it's only Issa D'Rabbanan. Mechilta we say it's a D'Raisa. So the Ramban says that it's a Nisach Mitta. It's a not a corrected Nisach which is in Mechilta, but it's not Issa D'Raisa. But Lamaisa the Smak, Eloi says Elam Ein Ches, the B'Shosha brings it down, Zukt is the Smak named to as Sof Kosov, as a Issa D'Raisa. So we have to remember there are some poiskim, although Pashtas is Weissman is not a Issa D'Rabbanan, but do poiskim in the Mechilta, which says basically it's Issa D'Raisa. So we have to rethink every time when it comes to Machan Azug for a go. You shouldn't think it's okay. The Prima Gudim, the Ali Rabba wants to make a chilik. That one side we see the Mechilta Issa D'Raisa, and the other side we see the poiskim in the Gemara says Amir Lakim Shviz. Is the Ali Rabba and the Prima Gudim zukt as it depends. If the goy does it b'shal Yisrael, then it's a D'Raisa. If the goy does it for a Yisrael, but in his chafaitim, that's a D'Rabbanan. So he makes a chilik as an shak astira. But hakaponim, how many points which say as the goy comes into me in a house and makes a malocha b'chafaitim shel Yisrael, al kaponim is the our points which say ariza D'Raisa. But Lama is the Alter Rebbe, Simrash Mem Dalet, Alter Rebbe when it starts this alocha, Alter Rebbe zug the lotion, osri chachumam. Loimer Lnechry lasses lu in malucha b'Shabbos. It's a Isser D'Rabbanan that a goy should make a malucha for Shabbos by mechinam by maschari, even when you don't pay him. So it's a nish mamash takedan suchir. Afi peken is oser. V'yesh reimes leIsser ze b'Shabbos v'yontem min haTorah. The Alter Rebbe zuk the man the Mechilta. Das is a reimes. Das is an ander wet. Kiri. So the Chvaynig was macht. It's a reimes as in the Torah. As steht in Posik, the Alter Rebbe brings the Posik. As steht in Posik, Kol Malucha lo yasa, which means lo yeusa. Mind afila dai chayrim. Even though a chayrim means, even though other people are not mechiyev to hold Shabbos, like a goy is not mechiyev to hold Shabbos, lo yeusa lo dai chayrim, because it doesn't mean dai chayrim Yisrael, because it stammos in mitzvah. But it means that dai chayrim, which is a goy, was basically with the goy, it is nicht mechiyev and nicht mitzvah to hold Shabbos. Afi peken is usa. So the Alter Rebbe says it's a Issa D'Rabbanan. Is a reimes min haTorah. Va'eis eiles machte ba'alma. It's not a smachte. In a zoid mavir lamas, a zoid net man un leposkem, as is only a Issa D'Rabbanan. In, like the Rambam says in Hilchot Shabbos, says clearly, Usiloim Lnechry lasses melucha b'Shabbos, v'duva ze osem divrei soifram. He says clearly, the zach is osem divrei soifram. What's the reason? He says the reason, k'dai shlo yitahai kala b'inayim, v'yu v'lasses b'asma. If it's going to be easy that you could say for a goy to make you a malacha, automatically Yidden will be also a Yid will also be chas v'sholom over, and you're going to make a malach, and therefore is Issa Drabonon. And this is how we name La Luchas in order Issa Drabonon. Now again, what's the difference of Issa Drabonon and Issa Draisa? Because it will be in a Gaia, the Gaba Gvis Haluchas, Shviz de Shviz, two other, saying for a goy to say Mecha Drabonon, the Gaba Tzorich Gudel. There's halachas which has ramification if it's a draisa, if it's not a drabonon. So therefore, we accept that Amira Lachrim is only a drabonon, but it's still aser. It's still aser. What is the reason as is aser for to make a sefer agoyam malacha? Now we just said we brought the lashon Rambam, which the Rambam said, "Kedai shlo yitahai Shabbos kal ba'einav, v'yuvili the last isa ba'asmai." Chazal were afraid if a yid can sefer a goy to put on a light, a Yisrael will also go and put on a light. If you could say a goy should do a malacha, then the Yid will also do a malacha. That's the reason which the Rambam gives. The reason which the Rambam gives. The Rashi Masechtes Avodah Zarah brings a different reason. We know the pasuk which says in Yeshaya, "Os tisanig al Hashem v'kechtich yom os tav davaduver b'soim schefch b'davaduver." The whole the Chazal lein Rosh Hashem Shin Zayin. All the halachas which has been says chuver v'davaduver, and we learned that the posik Chazal lein Rosh v'davaduver shlo yahai de birchu shel chol ke de birchu shel Shabbos. Why is it to talk a Shabbos things which is also on Shabbos? There are things which is also on Shabbos. V'davaduver shlo yahai de birchu shel Shabbos ke de birchu shel chol. Your talk should not be the talk Shabbos should not be the same as in the weekdays. The Alter Rebbe writes in the end of Tanya as kemivn as Shmira Shabbos is also with Dibber. As you have to watch what you talk, and that's why we know tzaddikim. There were tzaddikim when they didn't talk Shabbos any duver mishachol and only in Rosh Hashanah. So there's an Indian of v'daber duver. Zut Rasha, from dort lernt man raus a Iser Amira Lachri, because this is a Iser v'daber duver. Das a metun ishred das a was Iser. And saying for a goy to do a malacha, although the goy is mitzvah to make a malacha, but my saying him to make a malacha, that's the Iser himself. In a the Alter Rebbe, one place, the Reish Samach Gimel Kidras Achenen, Sif Kuten Hai, bring the Alter Rebbe this reason. The Alter Rebbe, doesn't goes to other reasons. Some places the Alter Rebbe brings this reason. So we have already a second reason, which is basically Medavadover. Third reason, which is the Alter Rebbe bases a lot on it, is a Rasha in Masechta Shabbos, Taf Kifnei Gimel. What?
Where's the origin of the Davar?
It comes a passing in Shaya. The Yeshai says that the whole thing which was for Shabbos, you shouldn't do your chafaitzam, and there's a lot of Simunim, Shechanurach, Shinvov, Shin Zayin are based on this pasuk. Yeah. So the third reason is Alter Rebbe, and it goes a lot with this reason. A lot the Alter Rebbe guys hashtag damit, and is a beit based on Rashi Masechta Shabbos. It goes al shlichas. When I say for a goy that he should put on the light on Shabbos, he's my shliach, and it's as if I put on the light. Now, although we know that ein shlich is lakim, there's no such a thing as shlich is lakim. If I say for a goy to do something, his ma'isa does not apply to me. That's always a klal. The ein shlich is lakim. So the Alter Rebbe brings up Gus Maimenas that ein shlich is lakim. But mit Rabbanan, das ist mir not teure, aber mit Rabbanan, ja schlichs la'akim, lechumre. Lechumre, haben die Chazal auch gelegt, das schlichs la'akim. So wegen dem, sagt der Alter Rebbe, whenever you say for a goy to do a malacha, on the Shabbos, is as if you are doing the malacha, he does it for you, lechumre, he does it to you, so the kili you make the malacha. Now, this is not accepted to all poskim. Let me make it clear. The Alter Rebbe goes very strong with it. There's a lot of achronim which disagree with the Alter Rebbe. The Chazon Sofer, for instance, has a tshiva, and he writes clearly that there's no such thing, especially on Shabbos, lechimra. He says because the whole Isser Shabbos is because the Eibishter wanted that the Guf and Yid should rest. So since the Guf and Yid rests, what do I care that the Goy did something, is a guy with alumnus of Shlichas, the Guf and Yid basically rest, and it holds it's not a problem of Shlichas. There's a lot of other achronim which disagree with the Alter Rebbe, but again, the Alter Rebbe paskens as yesh Shlichas la'akim lechimra, and therefore, the what? No, he brings out Gus Maimenes. By Gus Maimenes sucht schon der Sachen, aber the Alter Rebbe puts it over here in Hilchos Shabbos. As yesh Shlichas la'akim. Gus Maimenes ja klules die Sachen, yesh Shlichas la'akim lechimra. The Alter Rebbe goes very strong with this in Hilchos Shabbos a few times in Schiris Kablunas with this Nekida. So we have 3 reasons why it's also to make the Sefer HaGoy. Now it's interesting, this Avraham and Achiva gives a nafkeminas between the Tamim. It says, for instance, if somebody says for a Goy to make a Malocha Matzah Shabbos, yeah? Now, when the Goy makes the Malocha Matzah Shabbos, he's my Shliach. Who cares? It's Matzah Shabbos. What's the big deal? So why can't I make a Malocha, say for the Goy to make a Malocha for Matzah Shabbos? I could make, basically. Mitzad Dei Tam al Shlichus has no problem. But if the Tam, the reason is because V'daber Duvar, the Dibber itself is a problem, so therefore, it's Aser. Or other side, you're saying Erev Shabbos for a Goy, do me a favor tomorrow afternoon after my cholent, please come into my house and close the gas from the cholent pot. I don't need it anymore. You should. So he's selling it before Shabbos, and he should come on Shabbos. Now, if the reason is Mitzad V'daber Duvar, the Dibber is Aser, you told it Erev Shabbos, it's not a problem. But if Mitzad Shlichus, now when he does it, it's Shabbos, is Mitzad Shlichus. So this is the Chilikim, he gives Chilikim why the Chilik of in Halacha of these two. Lamasa we pasken, by the way, let me make it clear. Lamasa we pasken that you cannot say Friday for a Goy to make a Malocha on Shabbos, and you cannot say for a Goy Shabbos to make a Malocha after Shabbos. We have to remember this. But Akaponam, he brings, according to the Tamam, it's going to be a difference. Now the Rebbe has a very nice, cute beer over here also. Why do we need the 3 Tamam? Why do we need 3 Tamam in Indian of Amirah Lachli? It's printed in Shulchan HaMelech. It's come from Kitta Sichas, but over there Shulchan HaMelech, which is on Shechanor from the Rebbe. Over there the Rebbe brings like this. He says, why do we need this 3 Tamam? Shlei Kala Shabbos Ba'aynav, and because what says Chav V'daber Duvar, and because of Shlichas. And the Rebbe says that we know if the time is because of Shlichas, so if I say for a Goy Kulten, he should make me a Malacha. I go to a Goy, which is 12 years old, I say, do me a favor, come and put on the light. Yeah. Now, although we have a klal, ein Shlichas la'akim, in Lechimra, there's Shlichas midrabonan, and there's Shlichas, that's only by Godel. By Kotten, a Goy Kulten, nicht du kein Shlichas. Nicht du a viele Lechimra auch nicht. But my Lekim tells us, if the time is with such Shlichas, I have no issue to say it for a Goy Kulten. If the reason is with V'daber Duvar, it's just a problem. So therefore, Daf Manum auch the time, als V'daber Duvar, Kedai, we should have the problem even by Goy Kulten. Why do we need Kedai Shalitai Kalabayinov? So the Rebbe Azoi. Because basically, why should a person be Shabbos Kalabayinov? We know Shabbos is a Isser Skila. A person of Mechala Shabbos is a Isser Skila. So therefore, why should we think that basically a Yid was on Kalabayinov? So the Rebbe, we see in Hilchas Pesach that Chazal, the Teure Bechlal, and after Chazal am gut stark machmer gewesen auf Chometz b'Pesach. What is the reason why machmer Chometz b'Pesach sehr stark? So Chazal say, because Chometz all year round is mutter. Yeah, there's no problem. You can eat Chometz all year round. It's only the Zman makes the Isser. It's not like Chazer, like Treifas, which all year round, people are Budel Minai. Chometz is not Budel Minai. So therefore, Ham Chazal gemacht ha Isser, in the Torah gemacht ha Gresser Isser, since it's a thing which is, you're much more close to it. So the Rebbe, the Zabadach kimt aus mit Meluche Shabbos. Meluche Shabbos is Kala Ba'aynav, is because it is all week. You could make the same thing which I cannot do on Shabbos. I can open a light all week. It is only Shabbos I cannot do it. It's a money. So therefore, since the Alter Rebbe wants to say that Isser Amirah Lachli is a clueless digge Isser, which is not only for Shabbos, it's all other times also. So my Lord, the Alter Rebbe like auch the Tam Shlei Kala Ba'aynav, because as a Isser's money. Nachher nun sagt noch dem as Kedaim, as kennen sein verwusst Shabbos hat man so vermachen gewesen. So that's why we have the other time. The Rebbe hat him that verwusst darf man every time, which every time gives a reason why the Alter Rebbe Dafke brings this time, and it wasn't enough one time in itself. Okay, so now let's go to the next step. What is the Siga Pelechs, which do a Isser for Amirah Lachli? Now, Isser Amirah Lachli is Sai of Isser Daraisa, is Sai Isser Drabunan. As befirish in Aluchas in Machine Zayin, that basically are Issa D'Rabbanan, you cannot tell for a goy to make an Issa D'Rabbanan. Although it's not Issa D'Raisa, you cannot say a goy to make an Issa D'Rabbanan. Shvus, the Shvus, I say it for a goy, which he does Issa D'Rabbanan is a Shvus the Shvus, is auch Tusser. Novus then, Shvus the Shvus, we have times when we are Michael. Have some Meribah, Tzorich Gudel. There are some reasons which we Shvus the Shvus will give you Michael. But other than that, even Issa D'Rabbanan is Osir. It's not, it's not only Issa D'Raisa. The Alter Rebbe writes in Simmeshi Zayin Sivov that that's only a thing which is Osir Be'etzam. Even if it's Osir, it's Issa D'Rabbanan, but it's Osir. When we have a thing which is Osir no Mitzad Chumra, this is a thing which you could do, you could say for a goy. So a thing which basically Mitzad Haluch is a smitte, and it's only we are machman not to do it. We have in Shchanuch a lot of things which we are machman not to do it. In such a case, it's not a problem for a person to say for a goy. The moshul comes to mind is, for instance, carrying when there's an eiref. Since mitzad ikra din, it's okay. Then it's chimra we will machen was an fazam shitten mit azam shitten we will machen was an shittas. Aber es ist beetzem mitzad din, as es do a kusher eiref, not a kusher eiref. Aber a mensch is machmer. It's not a problem that you should say for a goy he should carry you in such a case because that's a issa which is only mitzad. It's also no mechimra, not mitzad din, and it's not even issa drabona. So therefore, is a zach you could say for a goy. Whenever it's only in the chimra. If it's a shisra ma'ayrev will not work, only dalsas. So again, whenever it's in it, so shisra is only dalsas. So whenever it is only a isid rabon, a chimra, again, kedai zizan a chimra, mizizan a karmelas, mizizan a proper ayrev, aber in sommer alle mine tzedudem, alle mine Sachen, wo sind sie machmer, weil Alter Rebbe so gerashmaim yachmer, lasmer, gaber sheshem reba, rashmaim yachmer, verschiedene Sachen, puris mereba la oimet, ramam shita, all these things, whatever is a chimra, is a kaponam, is through a goy, kema Michael Zahn. So if a person needs to carry something, in Kingston, for instance, was hakke moidem sin shuka sheshem reba, and hakle moidem as sin shukan mefilish mishal ashar, and so and there's a proper item, so therefore it is a goy could carry, although if you machmer. What is a thing which basically a machloek is a poiskem? Before I spoke about chimra. Now I'm saying a machloek is a poiskem was the osir is mitter. Zug the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe zugt this in Simashi Yidalad. The Alter Rebbe brings dort zaloch hazoi. Opening pesachas, you have a box, a closet which is open and it's closed. You don't have the key. About opening it, breaking it, the ganze luchas of opening pesachas hakailam, which by kailam moment it's a machloikes rishonim if bechral binin is tir bekailam. Some rishonim say there's no binin tir bekailam at all. Now I'm not talking a closet which is very big, but then going on to say you have a closet, a standard, you have a closet over there. It's nicht. So says hakle moedim says a kaila, and there are points which say I'm bin nestir b'kailim at all. Even binyan gumar nestir gumir. We don't pass like this. And we pass that b'kailim binyan gumar nestir gumar is yodwa isa. The Machaber brings down, although he passes, the Alter Rebbe also passes like the shita se osar. He brings down the tzad rishonim, the poiskim which are Michael. And Alter Rebbe writes why? What is the reason why that we bring down this shita? Although we don't pass like this shita, but since there are poiskim which say it's only it's mitter b'chlal, I'm bin estir b'kayim b'chlal. Although we don't pass like that, since we have such a poiskim, so therefore dort with the machloekes aposkim, you could rely on and go to do your malucha. So Alter Rebbe Shi Dalet Sifi Zayin clearly. As a ledai rochri, kema Michael Zahn. Although we pass as yasa, after piken, it is a sibel to become Michael Zahn. Aber Thomas is a guman. Someone can machloek apostle. Mas zachen with os mit rabonan. There's no hatter. No. By the way, about this thing which the Alter Rebbe writes that basically aledai mitter, but she done opening a kaila which is locked and you cannot open it by breaking it. So the Alter Rebbe paskin by go, you could do it. Just Allah, although we pass like the Alter Rebbe, but there are things over here. The Alter Rebbe is a big Michael with the Mr. Brira. Mr. Brira paskins that you should only be Michael, have sit Mariba, or if it's the Tzorich Mitzvah. Other than that, you shouldn't be Michael. But again, Alter Rebbe paskins a go, you could do it in any case. And again, when we have a killer in Alter Rebbe and Chashabas, then we could rely, because most of the Lachurk is Alter Rebbe, Mr. Brira, the Alter Rebbe is their Machmer. So you have, this few killers the Alter Rebbe has, let's Bechal, he's our Rebbe, but Bechal, fine. Now, what is the halacha by saying for a halacha for a goy, but it's a psik, a duashanim is chav, but psik reisha. And I'll give you the mashal right away, which makes it comes up on a constantly basis. A person forgot to close the Shabbos mode on his refrigerator. He forgot to unscrew the light in his refrigerator, for instance. Yeah? And the guy should open the refrigerator. Now he does a malacha, which is mitter. Opening the refrigerator mitzad is a mitter. Yid could do it. The only problem is when you open the door, the light is going to go on. Yeah? So therefore, a Yid cannot do it. Because that's basically a psikrash. Although ein kavanusi, you don't need the light. You could deal without the light. But sof kesuf the v'shayim is chavan, or it's a psikrash is off. So what is the halucha by goy? Can you call a goy to open your refrigerator when 100% sure the light is on and the light is going to turn on? The halacha in a paskemer, although she do with the will machbar zan, aber kapunem is nemrun halucha zoy. Whenever there is a Amirah lenochri with the malacha mitzad atzmi is nicht kein problem. It's only a psikraisha. It's do b'shayim mischavan. It's not a problem. So therefore, yes, you could call a goy to tell him that you should open the refrigerator and you should be able to take out stuff. The same will go, which is a shala which macht chasach also. People forgot things in their car. So Shabbos, he forgot his talas in his car. He came to a guest for Kingston, and his talas or the big Shabbos. Forgot his streimel, his kapota, he forgot in the car. Now, opening a car door is going to open the light. Automatically, you cannot do it. Now, if the battery is dismantled, it's not a problem. Yeah? Remember the first years when it wasn't, when we used to go Gimel Tamas, Shabbos Gimel Tamas, when es noch geschwenkt kein größer Oilem in Bamreben, so in Chaim Menachem, we were the first to go on Shabbos before or after Gimel Tamas. So we used to have still rooms where to sleep, all the rooms. But the first year when the Oilem hat sich gehabt as Gimel Tamas, darf man sagen Shabbos Bamreben, so there was already among rooms. But then there was not yet schools, there was a problem. So we slept in the car. So Erev Shabbos, remember, there was a guy. He went through the whole what is Nishlin? What?
Parking lot?
Francis Boulevard, and he went car to car, and he helped to dismantle the battery, and we slept in the car. So the opening a door of a car is not a problem. It's not a problem. The only problem is opening the light. So if you want take out your kapot Shabbos from your car, or whatever, then it's not a problem to say for a guy to open it. Although it's going to open the light. And this is a which you have to remember. Ich sage noch einmal, nicht jeder ein ist nur handig achroin, was ich meine, viele Ramoshe is not Ramoshe Fanschen is not happy with, aber es ist ungenehm bei uns, der Alter Rebbe passt mit so, es ist ungenehm so, la Masse, as whenever se is a filis a psikreisha, es du wahrscheinlich mischaven, it's not a problem, you can tell it to do. We have a raya to the Halacha Mamash. The Alter Rebbe writes, Halacha, that a Yid has a pot. A Yid has a pot, and which became cold. You have your cholon became cold. Chaz v'sholom. So then you could say for the goy, once upon a time there was no heat in the whole house. Yeah, once upon a time there was one place, one room had heat. One room had the heat. That was the room which, when it was cold, winter, they used to go over there, warm themselves, and the other rooms didn't have heat. Now, that was a big oven. That was basically a heating oven. So, the Alter Rebbe, you have a pot, which the oven became cold. You don't have the regular oven which you cooked, is cold. So, you say for the goy, do me a favor, I don't have place for the pot over here. and put it on the oven over there. And the oven is not the oven. The boiler, the steam boiler, the boiler for the steam is not working. Put it over there. Put it over there. Countertop. Put it over there. So you say for the guy, put it over there. The guy puts it over there. Fine. Now 3 hours from then, it becomes cold. What does the guy go? And puts on the tanner. Puts on the tanner because it's cold. He puts on the heat. Now his kavon is not the pot. It began vergessen that like a pot over there. But the kavon, film nicht vergessen. That's not his kavon. His kavon is now to put on the heat. Is in order to that the room should become warm. But it's a psikreische at the top is going to get hot. So the Alter Rebbe is not a problem. Because since he did a thing which is be'esa mitter, even a Yisroel is mitter as auf zu legen auf a kalte boiler. And the guy basically hat es ungezindern, nicht mitzad he wants to cook the food, only because he wants to put on the tanir. So therefore, it's not a problem. So we see a kapurim this halacha, that whenever you say for a guy to do a thing, which the zach... What?
Why can't the Yid put it on the cold?
Because the kavuna from the Yid is to put it on over there, then it's dishtonished. If I have kavuna to put it on the stove, and then I want the goy later put on, that my kavuna is already for the chol. That's awesome. But I'm talking now the goy hotchka kavuna. His work is to put on the steam. So therefore,
Even if the fire is overnight, put it on it.
you know you can't. Eichet nusen as a or, eichet nusen as a mishnah dort. Can't.
For the cars, in case of the car that you mentioned, that's only if there's a mechanical key or if there's an electronic key. Because a lot of cars don't have a mechanical key anymore
What do you mean?
to unlock the car.
I'm not talking unlock. I'm talking of open the door.
The car's open, you just have to open the door.
Yeah. If you're medical, all these things is a problem. If anything mechanical, it's a problem. I'm not talking mechanical. I'm talking just basically as it is basically the problem is not a hefner of a tier. It opens the light. That's I want to avoid. If you have a mechanic, come even anything which goes electric, automatically electric is you're going to get problems. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about yeah.
Mechanical is not electric. Right.
What?
Mechanical is not.
No, I mean whenever it's electric, it's a problem. Yeah.
So is this the difference?
By the way, I just wanted to clarify. I said before the Moshe Feinish is mach not the Moshe. Moshe Feinish is Yom Eichel. Ich denk as do epis achroinem, which they're hesitating of this whole heta. But again, this is accepted. This is a halacha which is accepted, and this is how we pasken that it is not a problem. Psikreische ba du shanim schafen. What?
Your examples were with lights. Is that the same thing even with real malachas? Because a lot of people say lights is...
No, I'm talking a light, even it's a real malacha. You're putting out the refrigerator, light is a real malacha. A bulb in the refrigerator is not LED. Maybe today's yes, but most of the lights, and I think it's not LED. It's stuck. No? Anybody knows? I don't know.
No, electronics.
What? Some switch LEDs?
Anything new is LED.
Yeah, but I thought, okay, well, because I still saw quite new ones with regular, and maybe it's my fantasy. I thought that it didn't make it LED because they want the heat. This is all whatever. Okay, it's a guy. No, it has to fill up with the rice. Fill up with the rice. Yeah, you feel the rice. Okay, another halacha, which is the Alter Rebbe brings down in Siman Shin Zayin, because the Alter Rebbe, you have to remember, the Alter Rebbe writes these halachas. It's all over. She's in Reish Einwurf. She's in Shin Wurf, a bisschen Shin Zayin. She's in Reish Mem Dalet. That's why it's very nice with Shalom Be'er Levin made Seider Mir Loch. What did he do? He just took all the sifim from the Alter Rebbe where it is all over to spreiten the whole Shulchan Aruch, and he put it Mesidra Allah Sach, because if not, you have to learn 4 or 5 Simonim in order to chap, and it shouldn't be stiras and Okay, now the Alter Rebbe writes in Shulchan Aruch, Siman Shin Zayin, that whenever there is a tzad, a Yisroel should do the malacha. Whenever there is a tzad that the Yisroel could do that malacha, although the goy will do the same malacha, but he will do it b'oifen osir, it's not a problem. That means, for instance, give him a moshel. A person has wants the goiter should wash dishes. At night, she was to wash dishes for tomorrow Seder. Now a Yid is permitted, is allowed to wash dishes through the Shabbos at night for in the morning dishes. That's the halacha, because it's l'sorich Shabbos. You cannot wash it after the second Seder for Motzei Shabbos, that's achona, but at night for the morning it's not a problem. So you can tell the goiter to wash the dishes too. But the goiter, a yid cannot wash with hot water. I'm talking when often this is a problem. I mean, it's not. We don't have the Shabbos mode. What is the new Levi installs the new machines? I'm talking regularly. You cannot open hot water in order to basically to wash our dishes. You have to wash it with cold water. Now you say for the goiter she should wash. She's going to wash it hot water. It's not my problem. Because basically the malacha, what I tell her, is a thing which I could do also beheter. Now she wants to do it, but if that's her Indian, she does it for herself, it's not a problem. The same will be also, a person, for instance, has to bring up Seder Shabbos, or whatever it should be. He lives on the 8th floor in the projects in New York, and he has his in-laws live on the 2nd floor. So he wants to bring up Shabbos food, or whatever needs to bring up stuff to 8th floor. So he can say for a go, do me a favor, bring it up. Since I could bring it up with steps, I have no issues. In the selbe buildings, alles beseder, so ich kann isse von trugen. So therefore, it's not a problem. Then we also sending an Erev. If there's an Erev around the town, and I could bring it, it was Daftizan, I can say for the go, do me a favor, bring me my food, I want to go to my friend, eat together, see the Shabbos, bring it to me. Now he's going to go with the car. And he's going to go and drive, but that's his problem already. That's his problem. What? Dem zoekt de prima goedem zoekt dat zo in such a case zoekst hem he has to bring him to the car. If you're telling it for 15 minutes, exactly. Prima goedem says Prima goedem talks about andere signes van a shranga jetzt that you're giving for a goy something to do before Shabbos, or you need it right after Shabbos, or you need it, let's say Sunday in the morning. So you can say he can do it all night. But Prima goedem redt viel azami sagen, es ist nicht normal als alles teen. I go out the ganze Nacht on a mechanic car. Because since in the normal way he cannot do it, but akapunam, the kid said what it is a thing which is a person could do, although he cannot do it. Where is it the guy? A nice sach which I had lately. Somebody had a child. He asked me after Shabbos, but the question was, he had a child. He was in the hospital, and there was a guy over there which lives right next to in the where he lives. So there's no such a thing that you could say for a guy. Have to make it clear because people make mistakes. You cannot tell a guy you've had a baby. You're in a hospital. You have a baby. You cannot tell a guy should call your parents to say you had a boy, you had a girl. You cannot say that. This is Amira, Lנכרי, Shvus. It's only under one attacker. But for what? Is it tzorich? There's no tzorich. Not tzorich choyle. It's not tzorich. What is it? Now, if there is somebody who's nervous and says that's something else. Man hat versachen, was ist taka, askuna oder a choyle oder etwas. Hast a alte mama, was she wants. I'm not talking. Regularly, people say for the guy, call up, tell that I had a baby, I have a girl, I have a boy. Mazel tov. It's awesome. It's awesome. But now we have a guy in a hospital, which works in the hospital, and Geisinger. It's chislet chimafillah. So you cannot tell for the guy, go drive to my house, but he lives in the Tchum von Yisrael. He lives in the Tchum of Yisrael. So he could walk to my house. Once he goes to his house, he can walk to my house. It's not a problem. Although he's going to drive. So although Safka Sof, from his house to my house, he's not going to walk, he's going to drive. But Safka Sof, since he's going to go in B'tachat and he could do it by ifan hatter, it's not a problem. Now if he's chuslet or telling it for a goy, do me a favor, go home, I'm paying you a taxi, do me a favor, Uber news. Go home and tell the news for my family that basically I had a baby. It's awesome. Amirah Lnachri. I feel listen, no again, I give you a Rabban, Amirah Lnachri is a shvusa. But in such a case that basically you tell it to him for the goy that basically he does it, he goes in anyways home. He goes home for himself. But now from his house to my house, kenner gain, beoifen, which is nishka mechil Shabbos, it's not a problem. And you could tell it for him that he should go. It's not an issue.
Just going back to the thing of washing dishes. Washing hot water with dishes. A dishwasher also is okay?
No. And it's Gittel is aufgebringt. Because anything which you're going into mechanical, guys, andere Geder of Afshemilsa. I'll give you the same scenario what you said, which I want to bring up because I heard you have a goiter, you can tell her to sweep the floor in the house on Shabbos. Now again, I want to make it clear, we are allowed to sweep the house on Shabbos with a broom. I'm saying it clearly. Although Rav Farkash in Shabbos Kalucha holds not like that, he also has to be a zamin, with all many things, because the Alter Rebbe brings in the halacha that once upon a time there was no ceramic tiles. Yeah, there's no ceramic tiles. So the halacha is you cannot sweep the floor because shemi yashve gimas. You're going to make gimas. So Zugdot Shulchan Aruch, although as there is a house which their house is basically clear, if it can, ich kann nicht machen kechilik zwischen so hot tiles. It doesn't have tiles, and even a house which has tiles is also. Zugen the Achronim that the Achronim meinig of the Shulchan Aruch allein, ach me viele Mungan Vroom, wo sie so klar, adus als if it's a shtut which you have this one and this one. But if it's a place which everybody has regular floors, like we, all of them, there's no such thing as floors which you used to have once upon a time with those Edrei not floors, ceramic or parquet or whatever, anything. Zugen the Chorayim of them, du nicht der Mu gemeint. The Mu meint when it's a shtut which has like this or this, so therefore is also. So but, yeah, I'm digressing, I don't know why, but okay, just to bring to you in the kidder. Zugen the Chorayim of the Ramu. The Ramu zugt nicht kachilik, aber the Chorayim zugen, das ist aber Sach. The Alter Rebbe brings on the same rush as the Ramu. Same rush as the Ramu. So Rav Farkash in Shabbos Kalucha says it's also because of the Alter machsh kachilik. But the pale is the Ramu is also machsh kachilik. Enough because of the Chroinim, as I'm in fall alle stut, alle floors are the same, is up problem. Say it's up Sachen Alter Rebbe. So there's no reason to be machman on this Nikida. This is with alle Pasken hand to say what? No. The Alter Rebbe, call, by the way, this is auch der Mama, ich will gleich figure das. Der Rebbe sucht Bechlala Sach. Der Rebbe sucht a Klau, whenever the Alter Rebbe brings down and in a lost Osa Stickel, you cannot build on it. There's a brief from the Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe lost a Rosa Stickel, it's not a raya as halt nicht so. This is Tama brief. And for me, it was a big chiddush this till. I'll tell you why. It's also, again, I'm going to digress a minute, although we have to stop soon. Aber, the Alter Rebbe, the Mungabrum writes, Alocha, the Mungabrum writes that the girls, once upon a time, only girls used to go with hair. Fine. Zug the Mungabrum, girls which go with hairs cannot have long hairs. If it's long hairs, it has to be kalua. Has to be a tap, has to be a ponytail. It cannot be loose hair. It's also als tznias. It's also als tuere because it's happened tznias. It's also. The Alter Rebbe brings down the Mungavrum as the Mungavrum writes before, and then what the Mungavrum writes afterwards, and it skips this piece. So I took it years ago. I took it. It's not a problem. Today's day for at least in this guy with Alter Rebbe. The Baba should go long, loose hair. That was my. Then what happened? I read the Yechidus. Moshe Yitzchak Hecht, I think Moshe Yitzchak Hecht was it, or the JJ Hecht. One of the two Hechts went into Yechidus with the Rebbe, and went in with his daughter. And the daughter had long hair, loose, and the Rebbe fraged, a Yiddish Meidl guy with loose hair, which is nicht zusammengenehmen. Also hat der Rebbe gesucht. And ich stein, ich dachte, what's the problem? The Alter Rebbe just admitted this piece, the Alter Rebbe had to make. What is the problem? As a Yiddish Meidl goes with such a thing. What is the problem? I said, we're going to kasha. Bis der Rebbe me geholfen a while later, I found the Rebbe writes clearly, I think two places with the Rebbe writes. The Rebbe writes, one of the klulim in the Shulchan Aruch, that we cannot build an halacha which the Alter Rebbe admits, because, halt doch, verwusst hat es herausgenommen, weiß ich nicht. Aber die Käste ist schon nicht Maske mit you can't build on it. Und man verärfert geworden, der Rebbe halt, als der Alter Rebbe halt, der Mungavrum. That's what the Alter Rebbe asked the mind. How are you going to lose hair? Now, again, I'm just bringing El Sarai. I don't want to make a balagan over here, because today's day, everybody goes with long shaitlach. And if you're going with the Mungavrum, you have all a problem. So again, I'm just bringing it as a marshal, as you've asked me, the Alter Rebbe admits it, yeah, this is what he asked. The Alter Rebbe brings, no, we see the Alter Rebbe, we can't show them born. Okay, again, ich kann nicht reinbringen der Neuse, nur ich habe Moritz zu reden der Neuse. So, it's only just to bringen, as we see, so therefore the Alter Rebbe, this is nicht gemacht gechilik, the Alter Rebbe is matig the Luschen Ramu. The Ramu ist gemacht gechilik, and the Alter Rebbe ist gemacht gechilik. That's the reason. So therefore, and nochmal, if you want to be a machman, not to broom your house, to Wulafbruch. But the Maße halte ich, Me make in ich passe so like triller, you could use a broom. Kim even da wissen what kind of broom, not strong so sprechen. Das ist extra loch, was ich gescheichs mit what the kind of floors. It's like my brushes too. So now a goite is permitted to broom your house. It's not a problem. So somebody's going to say, and somebody did it. He has a goite coming in Friday after every Shabbos afternoon after the Suda, and she vacuum cleans. And that's a Isser Gomer. Because whenever there's a loch in Shulchan Aruch, Afshe Milsa, we're going to get to Mechel Shabbos, we're going to get to this halacha, Afshe Milsa. It is a problem, anything which have a noise, washing machine, dryer machine, you cannot make with a Shabbos again, a washing machine or a dryer should go on Shabbos. You cannot make these things. You cannot make. As we want the Chroim have a shaila, how could we allow to open an air condition? Also gives out noise. And we mitch sich sehr stark finden. In the end game is, es ist geworden so, jeder eine weiß, es ist schwere Sache. Es ist nicht kein.
Fridge makes noise too.
No, it's not like a vacuum cleaner, not like a like. Afshe Milsa means that when a person comes in, it's obvious. A refrigerator doesn't make noise. Once upon a time, maybe it made more noise. Again, ich suche das Mitchen und of the refrigerators and of the refrigerator of the air conditioners. But I can put them. That is but there's a local color dice. A dishwasher cannot be used on Shabbos. A dishwasher cannot. Let me make it clear. A dishwasher, a vacuum cleaner, all these things cannot be used on Shabbos. What? Yeah. In the what? Where does it say what?
You can start anything you want.
No, fertig nicht so. Steht nicht nur am Chaber. That's why we have to learn Nechel Shabbos. Halacha Shulchan Aruch that you're putting in a grinder, you're putting in chitim, and a grind Shabbos is awesome. But yeah, that Halacha. Afshe Milsa, ganz Halacha Shulchan Aruch. Simon, a ganze Shimon, ja, man kann nicht Shulchan Aruch do. A ganze Simon, der alte Rebbe hat wegen der Neuse. So where does it say in Hilchos Shabbos? So now we have to start learning where it says. But that's the halacha. So again, let me guide to the Nikida. We can't use a dishwasher. You can't use a vacuum cleaner. Although you could clean it better, you could wash dishes better. Das kann man nicht.
Why is it different than a car and an elevator?
What do you mean a car and an elevator?
You said you go up the elevator and you use the stairs, or he can drive in the car.
Sag ich dir, du ein extra Problem. Komm, du titterst für sich im Ganzen. Warte, du tust für sich. Ja, das ist für sich. Das ist eine Sache. Und zweite Sache ist, du kommst daran eine Schale von Afshe Milsa, du kommst daran auf Noise, du kommst daran auf verschiedene Sachen. Aber das ist nicht Kamachleuke, das sind nicht Sachen, which du da ist, lekan, das lekan. Ich habe noch gesehen, in aller chronische Posten, bis man eine ist ein Matazan auf die Dishwasher, oder a washer, dryer, oder, no, was denn, bei einer Schmusches ist du ja, was will Michael sagen, auch was sie geboten so für Shulchan Aruch, that the washer and dryer will still end, let's say, 10 minutes after the shkia, is aber der Geist dem ist eine andere Schale.
How do you do if the washing machine decides that it needs to go for longer? That happens.
The what?
The washing machine is unstable load and decides.
Ja, therefore, bei uns bin ich mir aufgewachsen, es kommt das Mann, bevor die Shkia, the men that I'm giving, one of the jobs before they go in shul is open up the dryer.
But if you're going to say that there's a reason to say that you can go into the dishwasher.
So fine, if a person knows that in 5 minutes is going to be finished, is do was voltanas by the shmushes. The what? Okay, they auch Schale was. They talking about alarm card, they talking about the air conditioner, alles was the chilik. So ganze chivas in bishn aluchas. What is the chilik zwischen the and the? So do the thing. We will match him come to this alucha. We're going to get to the Bezrem Isburg. But ich will noch kommen to the close digging. We are now on Amirah Lnachri. What? Ich will noch kommen to the Nikida. And why do I say it? Because people make this to Isam. Im Kvar, the ganz Shabbos can werden aus. If you today's day when you have AI, when you have everything goes with those, the Moshe schreit, the Moshe nicht gelost kann Shabbos eigentlich auch nicht, because it says im kein einer du was up, all Shabbos is going to run, and again they forget about it. You're Teslas, you know. I'm gonna you put in before Shabbos. Do me a favor, go to my shviga's house, and you put in the child, and then come on, so wie you know. In your Shabbos. Auf dem habe ich gesagt, dass es zwischen Afshe Milsa, there's noise, bebei Sisruel. There's a lot of other reasons why. Zoek ik ga ook wel brengen in de kidden, als ze doen nog aan de kidden, maar nooit vertellen zaken is, you're taking out the whole in the shum of Shabbos. The Bajan Naruf, the Masham, was the biggest Michael of the last few hundred dollars. You know, Masham, you know, there's a saying they say when the Masham says something is osir, it's taka usir. You know, Masham was I can call it a killer. He knew everything, and I got plights, and he has a tshiva and came out the trains. Can he go on a train or not? What's the big deal? The train is going to go automatic. What do? What's the big deal? Can't you go on a train? Now we can't talk about car. You're going into problems because a car, when you sit in a car, it goes more gas, more weight, more gas. But I'm talking about a train which a person going up, it doesn't help anything. What's the issue? And the Masham says it's awesome. I get around the ganze Inen of Zizalis in the Shabbos. The Shing is Zizalis in the Shabbos. Just get around the Begay, Zizalis in the Shabbos. If you have the dishwasher with the microwave and everything runs on Shabbos. Benoisif tzi Avshemel to do Zizalis in the Shabbos. So therefore, yes, she could wash your dishes and she could sweep your floor, but you gotta know with what, when, and where, and you can. Nicht alles is mit.
When you spoke about secretion before, opening the door, that would be very different than telling them to put on the Shabbat mode.
Yeah.
Because that's not secretion.
Yeah. That's saying it direct to do a thing.
Yeah.
But over there, we could say it's mutter because it's a shvus, it's a two shvusim, it's a tzarech Shabbos, because if not, tomorrow has to come again. So that's a different. I'm glad you brought it up. I was wondering if somebody's going to bring it up. Answer about is a isa deraisa. Answer about is a isa deraisa. You're going in for boin and soiser, so that's an extra problem. Okay, we're going to stop here, and next tip is a new sigya, and we'll go from there.